Hey folks, MasakoX here. A while back, I made a tier list about the what-ifs that Haverok and I had cooked up over the last 5 years. In that video, I was honest about my feelings for each story that we've made, including those narratives which I felt were quite lacking and could have done with a retelling in some capacity in the future. This very series is the prime example of that. Going back and redoing something. I made a story in 2019 about Goku being evil, having never hit his head accidentally. In hindsight, it was quite closed-minded, and not very flexible in regards to things that could have possibly happened. In this retelling, Goku has a lot more potential to be a somewhat agreeable character instead. Just not your typical bastion of good or innocent like in the original. Here is how Goku would have realistically behaved had he not bumped his head. Today's video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. With Sakura Co, you will receive 20 traditional and authentic artisan Japanese snack items, including Japanese teas and one example of special Japanese tableware with your box every month, this being a delightful sukimi plate. Sakura Co partners with local Japanese snack makers, enabling Japanese culture and traditions that are over a century old to continue for future generations. This month it's all about the moon with the Kyoto Moon Festival and this inspired box design in collaboration with the Kyoto government, where you can delve into the mystery of the Tsukimi celebration, with these yuzu dorayaki for example, my favourite from this month. Then Tokyo Treat allows you to taste 20 of the latest, most exclusive and seasonal flavoured Japanese snacks, which this month is the Moon Festival Munchies. Dive in with treats such as Orange Mikan Mochi and Salt Lemon Kit Kats, the snacks that you recognise but flavours that will surprise you. Both boxes provide extra details for your curiosity, like ingredients, fascinating context behind each snack so you'll learn whilst you indulge, as well as important allergen information. I've been receiving these boxes for some time now, and I can say that these boxes are an amazing way to experience Japan, and they will give you everything that you enjoy about Japan and more. You can go to my Up on the Lookout channel to find out more about these treats, or you can go ahead and get $5 off your first Sakura Co or Tokyo Treat box by using the code MasterCoX at checkout, or via the links in the description before August 31st. Thanks once again to Sakura Co and Tokyo Treat for sponsoring today's video. In the first part, we still had Goku falling down the chasm and hurting himself, but his head remained intact. Now, wouldn't that mean he would remain a bad infant and be going against Gohan's authority seemingly for forever? Well, not quite. Even the most malevolent beasties could recognize a gift horse in the mouth, realize what they have right now is actually kind of beneficial to them and useful to make use of. Goku's relationship with Gohan was built more on convenience and trust instead of love. It was respect-based. And the ante was upped even more when the latter spotted Goku's power of becoming a giant gorilla, or werewolf as he wrongly assumed. He offered to train Goku up so that he might be able to control this power. But they had nothing to go on, since there was no guidebook in how to become a mighty and in-control Uzaru. They did train though in Goku's normal state, and as a result he became much stronger than he was in the original, about 7 times stronger. Their relationship was not affectionate. Gohan certainly didn't want to see Goku in danger, but in reality, he knew that Goku could never reciprocate in a manner that he would have wanted, out of just pure love for his grandpa. But it was still interesting having him around, despite him not being a son-like figure and more like just a student or resident. This made the situation with Bulma all the more curious. In order to get Goku to play ball, Gohan had to dangle the carrot, ironically, in front of a student by saying, if he went with Bulma and helped her, he could go outside the forests of Mount Paozu for the first time ever. A hater of authority and rules, Goku reluctantly complied since this would grant him freedom. That was appealing. Bulma, or Bumley as Goku kept calling her since she always got wound up by it, didn't like this either. But what choice did she have? She had to do this to get the Dragon Ball. And so the pair of them ventured out to find the remaining orbs. But Gohan was somewhat sad nevertheless. He knew this day would come, Goku leaving Mount Paozu. Granted, he wasn't sad at that thought of him going, but the thing that brought him down was that Goku might not come back. After all, the world was out there. Many more exciting things to be had and explored. Far more fascinating than here. Why would he come back to this place, where it was boring and constant? Gohan saw the pair of them off, and then walked back to the hut and looked at a picture that he had taken of the pair of them. Goku looking extremely annoyed at having to stand still for more than a nanosecond. But he did it. Barely. That was their relationship in a nutshell. Goku, with every fibre of his being, wanted to do what he wanted, but thanks to their situation, he would ultimately go along with it since he knew that there was no alternative. Now though, with Bulma's interactions and them exploring the region in a greater capacity, without Grandpa Gohan's oversight, Goku might be gone for good. He gazed at the picture for a few moments and sighed. Boy, despite our squabbles, you are like the son I never had. Every family isn't perfect, he muttered, before placing Goku's stuff in a box to keep them safe, in case he did come back, and went about his day, just like he did before Goku arrived. Speaking of Goku, this understanding he had with Bulma wasn't going as well as it did in the original. For starters, trying to get Goku to take a bath. Nope! Bulma tried as hard as she could, but Goku would always overpower her, and because of that, his stench overpowered her even more. The girl bemoaned her lot in life. If she couldn't even get her travel companion to at least wash himself without a stink, yeah, what was the rest of the journey going to be like? Goku may not have been a nice travel buddy to have, but when it came to beasties or enemies that might have gotten in the way of their quest, he could dispatch them without issue or mercy. When they're taking Turtle back to sea, after he promised information about the Dragon Ball, since it took more bribery to get Goku on side, they met the Bear Thief, and Goku straight up ended him. No knocking out, no letting him go, no comedic battling. No, the boy just went ahead and off the beast. Like that. Bulma wasn't sure what to think. She knew he wouldn't hurt her, since she was important for his freedom, but anyone else? Oh dear, she fell for that thief despite his job description. When they got to the ocean, and Turtle, keeping his word, actually went off to Kame House, summoning Roshi back to thank him for his freedom, Goku was getting a little restless. What is taking that slowpoke so long? He kept whining to nobody in particular. Bulma was grating her teeth in annoyance at having to look after this brat. Sometimes she didn't care how strong he was. She would just wish that he would shut up for once. In time, Roshi did arrive on the top of Turtle and introduced himself to the duo. Hello there. Thank you for bringing my friend home. He's quite bad with directions, as you saw. Goku yawned and asked about the Dragon Ball, since the radar had deduced that the guy was carrying it. He wasn't one for small talk, Goku. Roshi, though, recognized the clothing and spotted the power pole. Ah, you must be Gohan's kid. He told me you were quite powerful for someone your age. He was very proud of your skills. Goku stopped for a second, liking the thought that the old man valued his talents and martial arts skills. But still, what's it to you? Kid, I'm that Roshi guy he talked about. His master. By the way, I got it wrong in the last part saying he and Gohan were friends, my bad. So, for that outing, think it Gohan reminiscing about Roshi's antics with Mutaito instead, so he was hearing it vicariously. The Zenny dropped with Goku, and he relaxed a little bit. Not happy to see this guy, but at least glad to know who he was, and he might be worth his time, and how he might be useful in getting even stronger. We want your Dragon Ball, sir. Roshi blinked. Was that his best attempt at manners? Sorry, kiddo, but you can't always get what you want. If you want it, you gotta earn it. Goku's eyes twitched. Are you saying no to me? Do you have any idea how strong I am? Bulma was getting nervous. She remembered the Bear Thief and offered to show Roshi her undergarments, which partially took his attention away from this little punk. But Goku used this distraction to attack. However, Roshi's power was more than he had bargained for. Even with his extra power buffs, Goku, Roshi was still more supreme. Roshi vanished from sight and caught Goku unawares, striking him in the back with its own staff, sending the boy flat on his face. Goku got up and tried again. Same result. Bulma was seething. What was this kid doing? There was no way that this man would be willingly giving them the Dragon Ball now. Not after Goku attacked him. but at the same time, it was actually kind of nice to see Goku taking down a peg or two. In the end, Goku was too hurt to get up properly, and Roshi looked at him with a cold expression. I will admit, you're pretty good, but that attitude of yours stinks. I don't care if your gal's the prettiest gal I've seen in a long time, but if you can't be civil, there's no way you're getting my Dragon Ball. Goku was getting impatient, despite his condition, and was screaming and wailing with anger. Bulma stomped on his head to get him to be quiet and tried to deploy damage limitation, or else their quest was over before it even began. Listen, Master Roshi, I'm so sorry with how this runt's acted up. Is there any way that we can prove to you that we're legit, worthy of your time and your Dragon Ball? Roshi took his time thinking as Goku was wailing. Tell you what, Gohan's boy does intrigue me, but he's far too rough around the edges. Go away for a while, and come back when you think he can behave in a civilized manner. Then we might talk. Don't tell me what to do, old man! Don't you want to get stronger? That shut him up. Indeed, Goku very much wanted that. Gohan had taught him everything he knew, but Roshi was a brand new master. Perhaps he could get stronger after all. Then nobody could stop him from doing what he wanted. Goku sheepishly nodded. I thought so. Young boys can't help wanting more power, even if they do come from outer space. Goku looked up in surprise. You know about that? Gohan and I've kept in touch, albeit infrequently. You're the space boy. Don't worry, he's told no one else. Here's the deal. You brush up your act and try again. Then I might let you have the Dragon Ball. Got it? Goku looked away and nodded again. Bulma was impressed and thanked Roshi for his understanding and vowed to return. But before they left, he said one more thing. I still want a peek, Missy. Don't think you got out of that one. She rolled her eyes, but said all right, hoping that his old man brain would have forgotten about it by the time they would return. He wouldn't. As they headed for Aru Village, Bulma kept telling Goku that they can't get Dragon Balls through brute force or bullying tactics. They had to be more diplomatic and steady, offering something in return. Goku was frustrated at having to play nice with people. Man, being outside of the forest sucks, there are too many rules. He crossed his arms in protest and having a sulk at having to conform. In a way, he'd rather go back to the forest and live with Gohan for the rest of his life. I mean, if the rest of the world was going to be like this, it wasn't worth being out here. At least there was only one guy telling him what to do instead of many, and it was kind of interesting. With Goku grudgingly going along with the plan, they agreed to help the villagers with their Oolong infestation. But Goku took things a little too far. Instead of being slow and steady with the whole Pachawampa thing, Goku just knocked out Oolong at the first time he saw the transfiguration. The ramen-toting giant robot fell to the floor immediately, changing back into the green-jacketed pig he was most accustomed to. Bulma rubbed her eyes. Wow, that was fast. Indeed, Bulma, that was fast. Despite Goku being harder to rein in, he was certainly more efficient than in the original timeline. Sometimes being merciless got results. At least to Bulma it shows now that Goku could be handy. When Oolong came to, Goku was staring back at him and giving him an evil glare. Oolong was scared out of his mind, and he found out he was tied to a chair, unable to escape. Now, I bet you think, oh, he would just change into a snake or a bee and wriggle out of the trap, but right now, he was so freaked out at Goku's strength and scary face, he was in no fit state to transform or do anything. He was far too rattled. Bulma was there too, acting like the good cop in this double act. She promised to let Oolong go if he vowed to let the women he had captured go. He said yes without hesitation. Just get me away from that freak! Goku laughed menacingly, leaning into the whole pretense. Scared, piggy? Okay, Goku, calm down, we got what we wanted. With that, Oolong released the maidens, the pair got the Dragon Ball, and that was the last they saw of the transfiguring piglet. Since Bulma had a Goku that was way stronger, she felt less of a need to recruit Oolong, and thusly, they let him go. And he never captured women again, far too afraid of Goku showing up again, all to, roast him. Later, the pair were driving through Diablo Desert, and Bulma was starting to understand what Roshi and Gohan were going on about the kid. There was a way to handle Goku, it just had to be discovered. In a manner of speaking, they did make a good team, so long as they knew how to work together. That whole good cop, bad cop routine was far better than just being friendly or like a standard duo. Bulma could outsmart folks and offer compromises perhaps to sweeten the deal, and Goku, if things had to go to that way, could scare them into line. You know what, Goku? You ain't so bad. I knew there was a way to work well together. Goku gave her a slightly sour glare. Sure. You're only saying that because you're getting your way. What was that? She said with a flicker of irkness. I get it. This is the way to get the Dragon Balls. But remember this, Bumley. We're not friends. Once we're done, we're done. Bulma sighed and deployed a good cop plan. Okay, deal. Goku's eyes widened. Huh? Well, why aren't you mad? Simple, Goku. You're a lot easier to grasp than you think. You're like a boulder. Instead of trying to chip away at you, to make you into something you're not, I just gotta roll with it. When in motion, we can make waves. Goku thought about this for a second, but boulders can't float. But then it clicked. Huh, that's what Grandpa said, kinda. He looked at Bulma, finally starting to see what she meant. She had stopped trying to force him to act in a certain way, and instead work with what she had been dealt. He appreciated that deep down, but he didn't want to admit that to her that she had won just yet. In this timeline, she still has her dino caps, meaning that the trek across the desert isn't as perilous, but it still attracts the attention of a certain bandit. Yamcha and Puar are here and ready to ambush these two, who were clearly tourists out of their depth. You come to the wrong neck of the woods, greenhorns. Puar was quite keen to test their might too, seeing as it was two city slickers, most likely. They stood no chance against the power of the Wolffang. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. If you like this idea of Goku and Bumley's adventures changing, check out the Gine What If, where Gine and Gohan gave their blessing for the pair to do so. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!